Good morning, everybody. It's Barb Katie. It's so good to see you today. The weather is iffy. I think I'm going to have to take my walk between the raindrops because it comes and goes at its own whim. But then again, it's March in West Virginia, and if you wait 15 minutes, the weather will change and you might like it better. I hope your weekend was as good as mine was. It was absolutely fantastic. My weight recorder had a birthday party and I got to attend. And she is 100 years old and still spry and sharp as she can be. I want to be just like her when I grow up. And one of the ways I can do that is by continuing to try to make some time for good self-care. Julia has taught me that you need to take time for you in order to have time for others. And my goodness, she had such a nice turnout for her birthday party over the weekend, and I was so honored to get to be a part of it. She has a big, warm, caring family that got to shower their love and attention on her. And that is one way that you can be sure to have self-care is to find people, Top's friends, other friends, family members, and reach out and spend some time with them. I cannot tell you how good that will make you feel personally. It'll make them feel good probably as well, but you get so much out of spending times with those you love. Uh, this is a special weekend. Julia was born on the same day as my father. And so I've always had that special connection with her. And today is my brother's birthday, and I'll be talking with him later on. So I'm already feeling uplifted and happy just at the thought of talking to my brother, who always says he's plain vanilla, but I guess I must really love vanilla because he is the best man I have probably ever met in my life. And I am so grateful that he was my brother. Uh, from the day he was born, we were laughing the other day because we were looking at old family pictures. And in almost every family picture, when we were little kids, we're always holding hands. We have a connection that's really special, and it's one that I really value. And I hope you have that in your life because that's a wonderful way to have self-care. I love my sister just as much as I love my brother, but in a different way. She's 9 years younger than me, so a lot of the adventures that I had growing up were shared more often with my brother than they were with her. And so we have a little bit of a sort of a maybe even a aunt association because I was so much older than her. One of the things that we'll be concluding today in the self-care series that we've gone for the first 3 months of the year. Can you believe the first quarter of the year is over? I can't. It just amazes me. This year is zipping past faster and faster. But each week I've discussed with you different things we can do to take good care of ourselves and keep us in the state of mind to work on the changes we need to live our best and healthiest life. And just to recap very, very quickly, the first thing that we decided maybe we could do is find time in our day to engage in 10 minutes of some type of activity that we hadn't been doing previously. Every minute counts as you're moving. Every extra movement counts. And even if you're just marching in place while you're watching a commercial on television, that's better than just sitting in your chair or on the couch waiting for something else to come on. You always find a way to move a little bit more. And it does pay benefits and it does accumulate through time. I was reading some of the comments of our stalwart walkers in our group, and they testify so clearly about the benefits of walking. And these aren't just physical benefits. There are also benefits in terms of maintaining your resolve and your dedication and staying focused. Not just the steps alone are important, but what the steps represent are important as well. So I'm hoping you're finding that 10 minutes a day to get moving a little bit more than you have been in the past. And then we talked about making sure that we eat from the rainbow and add some vegetables to our lunches, dinners, or snacks, and more fruit as well throughout the day within our eating plan, so that your plate isn't just white. Your plate has a variety of color on it. That we eat with our eyes and with our nose as well as with our mouth. And sometimes we even eat with our ears. You know that special sound that a stalk of celery makes when you crunch into it when it's nice and fresh and crisp, or an apple when you bite into it. You know, we eat with all of our senses, and it needs to be a pleasurable thing. And then just taking a moment, oh, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, to sit in a quiet place and slowly breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. I mean, how simple is that? But it's a calming exercise. It gives you a time to get yourself settled into a certain mindset and move forward. If you just take a pause, and it doesn't have to be long or intense. Pauses, in fact, should be slow and calming, but that's a step in self-care. And then write down the things that you're grateful for, that you appreciate, that make you happy, that brighten your spirits. I know one of the things, and it sounds really silly, but yesterday I'm sitting in the living room and the sun is coming through the front window, and I have some sun catchers in that window, and some of them are faceted. And if the sun hits just right, rainbows appear. And the little girl next door to me, when she comes over and visits, she likes to come during the afternoon when the sun is hitting the living room at that particular angle. And that rainbow that was shining down and displaying on the living room rug and on the ottoman that's in there just brought her to mind, absolutely, because she would hold her hands into the rainbow and see it color in her hand, and she was delighted. You know, when you're 3 years old, a rainbow is big stuff, and she would just see how much of her she could get into the light cast by the rainbow. Little things that you appreciate, that make you smile, that uplift your spirits. And people, which is another self-care item, appreciating them and being grateful for the roles they play in your life that you may not think about every day. You know, I have my youngest son is more or less my sounding board when I really need to sit down and have a pretty heavy discussion about family and life in general. He is the guy that will sit and listen with me. He doesn't often offer me advice, but he's really good at redirecting and saying, well, Mom, what do you think? You know, what do you really think? You probably know your answer already, and you just need to express it. And he's right. You know, I often do have a pretty good idea of what needs to be done, but I'd like to have a sounding board for that moment in time. And I'm so grateful he is willing to be a really good listener. Everybody needs that one person that can listen carefully. And again, just being able to share time with the people in your life that you love. That is the last in our self-care goals for this series. Next week, we'll be starting something new. But spending time with people who mean a lot to you is so very therapeutic and helpful. And time goes by so quickly. You may not get another chance. So take advantage of every opportunity that you have. Then we shared things about tidying up a little bit in your personal space. It's my chaos, it's my filing system. I know where everything is. You can see the top of my deck. You'd wonder, how does she know where everything is? But you can always tidy things up a little bit and make things a little bit more efficient for yourself. Then we talked about just taking 5 minutes. And I have been doing this faithfully when I get up in the morning. And boy, does it feel good. I'm to where now I really like this. I do 5 minutes of gentle stretching. Some of it I do before I even get out of bed. And then the rest of it I complete in the morning before I go out into the kitchen. And it limbers me up and makes me feel better about starting the day. And I shared with you how I had found a way to make sure I get the water I need to stay fully hydrated throughout the day, because that's very important. And that's still going, that's still working. Going outside and getting some fresh air and just looking at the world around you is quite beneficial when you're dealing with yourself and keeping a positive attitude, especially this time of year. Spring to me is a time of rebirth, of regenerating, of renewing commitments. And so important to take the time to just reflect and look forward, but focus on your present by taking in the fresh air and looking around you and listening to the world around you. My backyard is really a noisy place in terms of the animals that go through it. I don't live out in the country, but I live out a ways. So we get a lot of bird song in my yard, and my frogs are back, and they are very, very noisy, especially in the evening. They're called barking frogs, and they make a lot of noise. But I appreciate them, and they're sort of my evening serenade. And that always makes me smile when I listen to my frogs. Uh, Getting ready to plant some things in the Victory Garden now that things are getting a little bit warmer. I don't think we're quite done with winter yet, but we'll see how it goes. I always enjoy that time when you begin to start seedlings and watch them begin to grow so that you could soon plant them outside once the danger of frost is gone. That makes me smile. Another thing that I have been taking more time doing is reading. And especially if you can read something that makes you smile. I love to read, and my favorite book is one that will touch me emotionally, and one that will make me think. I love a book that when I read, it not only makes me smile, but sometimes laugh out loud or brings me to tears as I get involved into the characters and the storyline of the book. That is something I look forward to every day. Also, I love cartoons, and I try to find a special cartoon to share with people that are near and dear to me every single day as well. And some of the cartoons are really, really funny. You just need to keep a sense of humor about a lot of things because, as my mom used to say, you got the same clothes to get glad in as you got mad in. And there's no point dwelling on the frustrations you might be feeling in some things when you can find joy in others. Do the best you can with what you have where you are and move on. The other thing that I did yesterday, and it was a struggle. I'll not lie to you and say it wasn't a struggle. I unplugged for almost the entire day. No phone, no social media, no television, nothing electronic. And you know what I listened to and really appreciated was the silence. It was amazing how noisy silence can be when you don't have all of these electronics pounding on your head. It was a whole different experience of the day, and it made me realize how plugged in I am most of the time. And I think I'm going to move that forward and make sure that from here on out, I consciously unplug from the world for an hour or so, if not more, each day, and appreciate the world just as it is without any other forms of communication. When my boys were little, we would go every summer for 2 weeks to a cabin in one of our state parks, which had very little electronics. We even had the lanterns that you had to light at night and cooked on a wood stove. So my children would be unplugged. They would only have the natural world around them in which to entertain themselves and amuse themselves and learn from. And those got to be our very favorite vacations that we took together as a family because we spent time with each other, which brings me to the very last thing in the list of self-care, which is to reach out to fellow TOPS members, to family or friends, and appreciate how good that contact is. Have you ever gotten that phone call from somebody for no reason, just out of the blue, that says, "Hi, I was thinking about you. How are you doing? You have time to have a little chat?" I just got one of those calls. Well, it was yesterday evening after I plugged the electronics in from a good friend of mine, just for no earthly reason other than I had come across her mind and she wanted to take a moment to say, "Thinking of you, how are you doing?" And I so appreciated that. And it's something we need to do. We need to stay as connected as we can with people we love. I've scheduled lunch today with a really good friend that I haven't seen in ages. Just there's no agenda, there's nothing wrong. We're just going to get together. We're going to take the time to be together. And when it comes to life in general, it's all how do you manage your moments? How do you take care of yourself to make every day a good day? I was looking online right before I started this broadcast, and one of the things that I saw was the bungee exercise video that one of our group had posted. And I laughed and laughed because I could see myself harnessed up to that bungee, going through those exercises with those ladies. And I would be the one that was out of step and would be careening here, there, and everywhere. They'd have to be playing Dodge Barbara. But what a novel way to get some exercise and to be supported and maybe move in ways that you would not be comfortable moving without that bungee cord. That was really creative and it really made me smile to watch it because I could just picture myself there. And I so appreciate reading about the struggles that you're having. So I know I'm not alone. You know, other people have struggles too. Weight control is not necessarily, and she lived happily ever after. It's continuing. It's going to require that we do our due diligence daily and be focused and in the moment daily. And those of you who are willing to share your challenges and what you're doing to overcome them help all of the rest of us so much to know that we're in this together and we're not alone, and we're going to find ways to help us live our healthiest, happiest lives every single day. So I just want to close uh, with saying to all of you how grateful I am that you are in my life every day and that you make a difference for me. And I appreciate each and every one of you so much. So today, go out there and make it a great one just for you. I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.